Good evening. Today is November 14th, 2021. It's Sunday. We had a good service this morning in our church. Then we had a virtual church anniversary at Westphalia Church, Corsicana. Hope everybody has had a good day. A little over a year ago, I attended a very interesting event. It was November 5th, 2011, and the song you just heard was performed that very night. When this recording was made, I was present in Bremond, Texas, to the release of a very interesting DVD called the Waltz To Westphalia. It was produced by my friend Joe Weed, a music historian and filmmaker who lives in California. Westphalia, Texas, is located in Falls County. It's about 18 miles from Temple, south of Waco. It was in 2006. My wife Deborah and I traveled down that way. We went to Temple to visit our grandson. Then the three of us took a side trip to Westphalia, a fascinating community along Highway 320, whose main claim to fame is connections with the Westphalia Waltz. The town was founded in 1879 by immigrants from Westphalia, Germany, the site of the Peace of Westphalia that ended the 30 Years' War in 1648. Several years ago, I had the pleasure of teaching a history course in which it was seminar-like, and we devoted the semester to study of the 30 Years' War and the Peace of Westphalia. The war lasted from 1618 to 1648. And it had a great deal of implications for international relations in the future. One of the books we used was Exorcising the Ghost of Westphalia. Maybe some other time we can devote a video to that. Very interesting topic. But Westphalia's, the town itself was settled in 1879. In 1895, they completed the Catholic Church of the Visitation, the oldest wooden church in Texas. And on October 6, 1946, Herbert and Flora Herzog were married in this church. By the way, some pictures were taken that day when we were there. Here I am outside the church. And here I am inside the church. And here's the old country store where we had dinner. Very rustic atmosphere, which is what I like. And the music for the wedding dance of the Herzogs was provided by Cotton Collins and his band, the Lone Star Playboys of Waco. This was reported by, it was a question about where Cotton Collins picked up the tune. but the consensus is now that he heard it for the first time in Bremond, Texas, performed by Polish musicians from Chicago. It was on Saturday, November the 5th of 2011, 10 years ago. I traveled to the Texas Slav and German boutique at Bremond for the premiere of the Waltz to Westphalia by producer and musician Joe Weed. Other viewings were held on Friday, November 4th in Austin, on Sunday, November 6th in Westphalia. This Saturday evening, DVD release party was the one that fit my schedule the best. The film describes the journey of a fiddle classic born in Poland, nurtured by immigrants, and raised to become a hit in post-war Texas. One of the people interviewed in the film was an old friend of mine from Waco named Garland Lamar, an outstanding individual who once worked for B.J. Shelby Music Company. And was well acquainted with the Lone Star Playboys. Sadly, Garland passed away in 2009. He retired as a counselor for alcoholics at the Waco VA Medical Center. The Lone Star Playboys were regulars at Westphalia's Parish Hall. At the Herzog wedding, they played the song No Name Waltz, the song that Cotton College had picked up from Polish musicians in Bremond. And someone at the dance suggested that it be called the Westphalia Waltz. And practically every family in Westphalia claims that one of their members was the one who suggested the title for the song. And what became the Westphalia Waltz began as a Polish folk tune called Witala Sapani. It was listed in an anthology of Poland's National Library prior to 1918, so the song goes way back. It's also been known as Wystiki Rybki and the Dreamy Fish Waltz. And Joe Weed traveled a great deal to do research. He went to several states, and Polish immigrants who worked in the textile mills of New England, the coal mines of Pennsylvania, and the farms of Wisconsin all were very familiar with the song, and is recorded by Victor Records in 1930 and Columbia Records in 1937. In recent years, Polish musicians in the rural community of Stevens Point, Wisconsin, had long performed Witala Sapani, but they've never heard of the Westphalia Waltz. This is a sharp contrast with musicians in the Wisconsin state capital of Madison, who, while well aware of the song's Polish roots, regard the Westphalia Waltz as a distinctively American song. And some people outside of Texas mistakenly think the song refers to Westphalia, Germany, although that's certainly where the immigrants who settled Westphalia, Texas came from. Many people have recorded it, and so in summary, Polish Americans in New England, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Texas sang a beloved song from the old country. Cotton Collins adapted the melody and played it as a Texas fiddle tune. he named it the Westphalia Waltz. With country music's huge popularity after World War II, recording stars brought Collins's renamed tune to the national stage. Now, more than half a century later, the Westphalia Waltz is a standard for fiddlers across the U.S. And here is the video, the Waltz to Westphalia, put together by Joe Weed. I've been to Bremond since then. Actually, my first visit to Bremond was in the fall of 1974. At the time, I was living in Waco, working at Barron's Incorporated, a wholesale drug distributing company, working on my master's thesis at Baylor. I had applied for a job with the Texas Department of Public Welfare, which is now Health and Human Services. The supervisor's office was in Franklin, the county seat of Robertson County, but she was nice enough to see me in the evening at the Bremond furniture store that she and her husband operated. I don't remember the exact date of the interview, and I don't have a picture of it. The position was in financial services. The supervisor felt I'd be better in social services, and I didn't get selected. However, on December 1st that year, I was hired for a social service position with the same agency in Teague, which began a different chapter of my life. But that was my first visit to Bremond. November 5th, 2011 was my second visit there. Then on July 19th, 2014, I returned to attend the Wallace Woodard reunion. Anthony Haynes has roots in Bremond. He's married to Teresa Bass Haynes, the sister of my wife, Deborah Bass Usler. And we stopped at the Texas Slav and German Boutique. This is a picture, by the way, made in 2011 at the boutique with myself with Joe Weed. And here is with my brother-in-law, Anthony, in 2014. And Deborah and I have been back there for another reunion since then. And sadly, on July 29th, 2019, a very tragic event occurred in Westphalia. The Catholic Church, the Visitation, was destroyed by fire, 124 years old. Firefighters from across the area responded to this church. Flames overtook the sanctuary, smoke filled the fire, and terrible devastation. They did have insurance. They have a rebuilding drive going on. This congregation of hundreds has a rich history with a Central Texas landmark. Bishop Joe Vasquez of the Austin Diocese said it's extremely difficult and painful to be here. I'm very deeply affected by this. I know the people here are also heartbroken. Residents were able to save the tabernacle, which houses the Blessed Sacrament from the church, as the fire burned. Mass will be held in the parish hall until the church is rebuilt. And I sent a contribution in a while back for the building fund. And I am confident in time it will be rebuilt. That church has played a very important role in the community of Westphalia in the past, and no doubt it will be in the future. So I've introduced you tonight to two towns, Bremond and Westphalia. This old Polish folk tune eventually was given some new lyrics, and the Razzel's Polka Band recorded that, and it's a good recording, and here it is.
When I went to the mailbox and I opened it up, and I found my
I hate
in there, and
advertisements coming on to interfere with what you're doing.
Please play the Westphalia Waltz. It was our favorite tune. It brings back memories of wedding bells in June. I'll never forget that night. Your arms were holding me tight. I fell in love with you as we danced the Westphalia Waltz. And we danced to the left, and we danced to the right. You'd swing me around and around. Yes, we danced to the left, and we danced to the right, to the Westphalia Waltz.
If you ever have a chance to go to Westphalia or to Bremond for that matter, they have a Polish fest there during the month of June. I've never been to it. The family reunion of the Wallace Woodard families is held in July, and we've been a couple of times, and hopefully we'll go again after the pandemic is over. But maybe we'll get to the Polish Fest one of these days. And I pray that the church at Westphalia will be rebuilt. Westphalia Waltz, wonderful history, wonderful part of Americana. Have a great evening and a wonderful week ahead. God bless.